Good evening, members of the jury. My name is Ford.
Nope, stop. Put your hand notes down. Now I'm interrupting you. Put them on the table. You can glance at them, but
All right.
Beth.
Good evening, members of the jury. My name is Ford and I represent the state of Nida. During our school years, we learn things as simple as 2 + 2 = 4, and we also learn very complex multivariable algebraic equations that are very complex. This case is about the defendant, who is charged with robbery in the second degree and with theft in the second degree. Now, as a lawyer, I can tell you that throughout this trial, the intricacies and complexity of the law might bore you. You might get distracted, but hopefully the evidence throughout the trial will make things easier for you. And at the end, once all the evidence is introduced, you will come to one conclusion and one conclusion only, that the defendant is guilty of robbery and theft in the second degree, just like 2 + 2 = 4. It's that simple. Throughout the trial, you will hear from the defendant, Ms. Fitzgerald, who will tell you that after a long, exhausting day at work, all she wanted to do was go home, eat a snack, watch some TV. Perhaps the Nida Braves were on TV and she wanted to watch the game. Her night started off well. Got off at 9:45, same time she had been getting off since July 1st, actually. She went to the bus station, and wow, the bus was waiting for her. Her night is going great. That snack was waiting for her at home. Got on the bus, couldn't wait to put in the key in that door lock, couldn't wait to get off that bus. And then she got off the bus, started walking home. Maybe the Braves were up 2-0, maybe they were down 2-0. But you know what? That never happened. The defendant creepingly followed her, snatched her purse, threw her down to the ground, just like a wolf preying on the sheep. A defenseless sheep on the field, and the wolf, knowing that she would walk by that street at that time, was waiting for her and made her her dinner, his dinner. Now you will also hear from Officer Wright, who answered the victim's phone call, went to her house, took her testimony. He will tell you what procedure he followed, and he will also tell you that the victim was unable to recognize the aggressor on the first occasion that she went to the police station. Now the defense would, but however, she did recognize him at the second time, and the evidence will show this. Now the defense will paint a case that will tell you, how could she be sure that that is the defendant? How could she be sure when the first time she went, she could not recognize the defendant among the pool of pictures that were shown to her? Now, although very creative and a very good defense, if I've been a defense attorney myself, you as jurors must ask yourself, how many times have you looked at pictures of yourselves and you've asked yourselves, that doesn't even look like me? How many times you looked at pictures of your friends and you've asked yourselves, that doesn't even look like her? How many times you looked at pictures of your kids, your relatives, your parents, and you said, that doesn't even look like that? Perhaps the defendant in the picture had long hair, perhaps he had short hair, perhaps he didn't have that type of hairstyle that night of the incident. You must ask yourselves whether there is room for doubt in that occasion. Now, the defense will also try to argue, hey, my client was at a movie that night, but how reliable is this alibi? That is up to you to decide. And if the evidence and if the defense have not sufficiently proved to you that that was their client and the defendant at the time that the incidents occurred, it's up to you to decide whether or not the defendant was actually the one that committed the crime. Now, once my case is done, and once the defense's case is done, I believe that you will come to one conclusion and one conclusion only. The defendant is guilty, and he must be brought to justice, just like 2 + 2 = 4. It's that simple. Thank you.
Okay, how was it without your notes?